I spend a fair amount of my free time under the hood of a car. Brakes, oil changes, transmission service. And not just mine, I do this for friends, family, neighbors, elders with medical needs, community at large. Some folks who make their living driving. We keep their cars on the road, earning, paying taxes, supporting their families, making an honest living. Physical care for the structures that support your life is important. And I do this not because I enjoy smelling like grease, though I do a little, but because I believe in empowering people, and your car is one of the biggest things that either empowers you or enslaves you. Relatively older vehicles run reliably, don't leave you stranded by a software glitch, and don't spy on you. They belong to you, not to a manufacturer who decided that your car is really just a platform for selling subscriptions, collecting data, and locking out anyone who dares to try to fix them. That commitment that your car should belong to you is under direct, deliberate, and largely invisible attack. It's David versus Goliath, except Goliath has a fleet of lawyers, a platoon of lobbyists, and a direct line to every member of Congress who takes their campaign checks. Side note, not me. So here's what's happening. Modern vehicles are not just cars anymore. They are rolling computers with wheels, packed with sensors, modems, encrypted software, and proprietary diagnostic systems that communicate constantly with the manufacturer's servers. And the manufacturers have figured out that if they control the software, they control the repair market. We're not in the era of customer service anymore. We're in the era of customer capture, where the goal is not to help you keep your car running, but to lock you into a closed system where every repair, every part, every diagnostic flows through the dealer at whatever predatory price you choose to gouge. They can make it impossible for you to reset your oil light after an oil change. They can require proprietary software matching for something as simple as replacing your tail light. If that tail light does not come from the dealer, the part will not work. Not because it's defective, because the manufacturer told the car not to accept it. It's not customer service, that's sheer extraction. And it's designed to transfer wealth from working people to billionaire shareholders one repair at a time. Throwaway, disposable cars designed to fail, designed to be unrepairable, designed to be replaced every few years, are not good for the environment, not good for your empowerment, and not good for America. They turn what used to be a durable good, a tool for personal freedom and mobility, into a subscription appliance that you never truly own. And they eliminate the honest living of independent mechanics, the men and women who work with their hands, who keep families on the road, who provide second and third jobs for people who need them, who are the backbone of every working-class community in this country. Now, California recently passed a law that directly addresses one piece of this puzzle, prohibiting dealerships and manufacturers from acquiring software matching that prevents a working part from functioning just because it didn't come from them. And that's good. It's consumer protection, citizen empowerment. It's the government remembering that it works for we the people, not for the predatory billionaires who want to turn your car into a toll booth. But we need federal consumer protection, right to repair, and data privacy laws that establish a floor for everyone in this country, so we're not playing legal whack-a-mole across 50 states just to keep you safe, free, and independent on the road. If a part works, it should work, period. The car should not be programmed to reject a perfectly good component because the manufacturer wants to force you into their service center at 10x the price. And yet the fight over right to repair is far from over, because the barriers are multiplying faster than the laws can keep up. At the federal level, the House Energy and Commerce Committee recently advanced the Motor Vehicle Modernization Act of 2026, which includes some right to repair provisions, but it does not go nearly far enough. The bill would codify existing voluntary agreements between automakers and the aftermarket, agreements that were signed in 2014, before most modern vehicles had the kind of connected systems, ADAS sensors, telematics, and wireless data transmission that now define the repair landscape. You might notice that codifying a 2014 agreement does nothing to address the technology of 2026. It hands automakers a costly repair monopoly, while pretending the last 12 years of technological change didn't happen. Meanwhile, automakers are actively defending their repair walled gardens in court. Porsche is currently facing a class action lawsuit after an independent shop performed a routine oil change on a Cayenne but could not reset the oil service indicator. The mechanical work was fine. The filter was replaced, the oil was fresh, but the software refused to acknowledge the repair because it was not done by a dealer. The owner had to pay hundreds to a dealership for them to plug in a computer, press a button, and clear a light that should have cleared itself the moment the work was done. That's not a technical limitation. That's customer capture in action, a predatory business tactic dressed up as technology designed by billionaires to extract even more from working people, and it's being replicated across the industry. The financial impact on you is staggering. Repair costs have risen 42% over the last 5 years, nearly double the rate of inflation. Data restrictions alone cost independent repair shops an estimated $3 billion every year in licensing fees for proprietary diagnostic tools. And consumers are paying the price, not just in higher bills, but in lost options. When independent shops cannot keep up, dealerships gain pricing power. When dealerships gain pricing power, everyone pays more. And if you were already on the edge, you get pushed into freefall. That's not a fair market. That's a rigged game. But the lockout is only half the problem. The surveillance is the other half. Your car is collecting data on you constantly. Where you drive, how fast you accelerate, how hard you brake, when you buckle your seatbelt, where you park, how long you stay. General Motors was caught collecting precise geolocation data from millions of vehicles, sometimes as frequently as every 3 seconds, and selling it to data brokers like LexisNexis and Verisk. Those brokers then sold the data to all kinds of places, including to insurance companies who use it to hike premiums without the driver's knowledge or consent. The FTC finalized a 5-year ban on GM sharing that data, and California extracted a settlement, but GM was not the only one. They're just the ones that got caught. This is what happens when we let predatory billionaires write the rules. They steal your property, your privacy, your power, and they sell it back to you, piece by piece, calling it innovation. And then there's the environmental piece that almost no one talks about. The most environmentally conscious thing you can do is not buy a new car. It's keeping the one you already have on the road. The energy and materials already embodied in an existing vehicle, particularly the ones built to last, the ones you can actually fix, represent a massive ecological investment. Manufacturing a new car creates tons of pollution before it ever leaves the lot. Throwaway disposable cars, designed to be replaced every few years, designed to be unrepairable, are an environmental disaster dressed up as progress. Extending the life of an older vehicle, maintaining it correctly so it runs at optimum possible efficiency, is far better for the planet than buying a new whatever that gets slightly better fuel efficiency but will break faster and require an entire new industrial ecosystem to build. The greenest car is the one already in your driveway. The auto industry claims that restricted access to vehicle data and software is necessary for cybersecurity and safety. And there's a kernel of truth there. Systems need to be secure. But security is not the same as monopoly. You can protect a system without locking out the person who owns it. You can design a car that is safe to repair without requiring a dealership visit to change a battery or reset an oil light. The fact that manufacturers have chosen not to do so, it's not an engineering constraint. It's a predatory business decision. And it is one that fundamentally flips the relationship between owner and property. Here's where the constitutional frame enters, because the question at the heart of right to repair is not just about cars, it's about ownership. It's about whether you actually possess the things you pay for, or whether you're merely licensing them from corporations that retain veto power over how you use, maintain, and repair them. It's about whether we the people still have the power to say no to the predatory billionaires who want to own every aspect of our lives and, frankly, are well on their way. The Constitution protects property rights. It presupposes that when you buy something, it belongs to you. But the digital enclosure of physical goods, cars, tractors, phones, medical devices, has quietly eroded that assumption. You own the steel, as the advocates say, but the manufacturer owns the silicon. And because the silicon controls the steel, the manufacturer effectively controls the whole thing. That's not freedom. That's feudalism with a software update. I oppose all of it. Every attempt to price older, reliable, private vehicles off the road. Every software lock that turns a working part into a paperweight. Every data harvesting scheme that sells your driving history to the highest bidder without your knowledge. Every false choice that says we must choose between fuel efficiency and privacy, between modern safety systems and the right to repair, between innovation and ownership. That's a false choice. We absolutely can design extremely fuel-efficient vehicles that do not compromise privacy, quality, security, or durability. We absolutely can build advanced safety systems that independent shops can calibrate. We absolutely can require manufacturers to share diagnostic data with the people who own the cars that generate it. Cars that go into limp mode in the middle of rush hour traffic on a key bridge are a genuine public danger. We don't want them. Throwaway, disposable, surveillance-riddled cars are not inevitable. They're a scam. A scam pulled by manufacturers who figured out that a car you cannot repair is a car you must replace. And replacement means more sales, more profit, more control for them. Now that choice is bad for the environment, bad for your empowerment, bad for honest living, and bad for America. Yet, shamefully, our politicians are currently letting them get away with it. First, we need better politicians. Then, we can choose consumer protection over corporate extraction schemes. We can choose citizen empowerment over billionaire control. We can choose we the people over the predatory few. Any sensible government that is legitimately putting the interests of its people first would make sure we did those things. The fact that we're not, the fact that right to repair legislation has stalled, that automakers continue to litigate and lobby against our own repair access, that the federal bill moving through Congress is widely seen as too weak to actually solve the problem, why we're letting them get away with highway robbery is a very, very good question. And the answer, I suspect, has much to do with who profits from the status quo, who has the money to make sure it stays that way, and who writes the checks for our members of Congress. A constitutional government does not give corporations a free pass to turn your property into their platform. A free society does not require you to forfeit your right to repair in exchange for the privilege of paying for the car, along with the interest, tabs, gas taxes, hyperinflated repair costs, and now dealership software fees, just to get on the road. And the relationship between owner and property should not be a negotiation between you and a piece of software that's been programmed to say no. My name is Melissa Chowdhury, and I'm running for Congress in Washington's 9th District. I take no PAC money, and my campaign is entirely funded by we the people. I fix my own brakes. I change my own oil. I keep old cars on the road, and I keep corporations out of your business. And I'm running for Congress because the people deserve a representative who understands that when you buy something, it should actually belong to you. Care, courage, the Constitution. Vote Melissa for Congress.